names if the need arises. Tonight on Adult Conversations. My name is Harrison. My wife's father left her some money in his will before he died 6 years ago. This was before we met. My wife used some of the money to buy a piece of land in Ogun State, and every year she takes out a good part of the profit to build on the land. She told me all about this before we married, but I totally forgot about this. She just told me that the house is complete. I casually replied that we should build it together since the house is in both our names. And she corrected me that the house is just in her name. I continued the conversation, but deep down, I'm very upset that she did not put it in both our names since we are husband and wife. This happened late last week, but I have not been able to get it out of my head. Am I overthinking this, or is she really wrong for putting the house in only her name? Father died. She was left some money in his will. She was left some money by her father, and this money she used it to buy a piece of land in Ogun State, and and do some other investments. She takes out a good part of the investment profit every year to build on the land that she bought in Ogun State. Now, all of this was before she met Harrison, but she told him all about this before they got married. Now, Harrison said he totally forgot about this. Now, she just told him that the house is complete and was asking for his ideas on how to furnish it. Then he casually replied that, oh, we can furnish it together since the house is in both our names. He's saying that he was very upset, or he is very upset that she didn't put the house in both their names because they're husband and wife. This has happened since last week, but Harrison said he has not been able to get it out of his head. He's asking, am I overthinking this, or is she really wrong for putting the house in only her name? Well, what do you think? What do you think? Do you think she's wrong for putting the house in only her name? Or do you think that she should have put it in both their names, as Harrison is saying? The number to call to give advice tonight is 07000 917 917. 07000 917 917. You can always also send in a text message or a WhatsApp message to 0703 175 6537. 0705 6537. 0703 175 6537. And anywhere you are in the world, of course, you can still listen live from any part of the world on www.wfm917.com. www.wfm917.com. You can download the Women Radio app as well, WFM917, on iOS and on Google Play Store. You can also listen. Yes, okay, that's it. You can listen live on the app. So when you call in, please remember to turn it down the volume of your radio so that you can hear you clearly. Thank you. If you want to join the Adult Conversations group chat, send in your information, your name and contact number, your name and WhatsApp contact number. Send a WhatsApp message with this information to 0703 175 6537, and you'll be added onto the group. What do you think? Hello, good evening. Hello. Hello. Okay, please call back if you can. It's 07000 917 917. That's the number to call to give advice. You can also send in a text message or a WhatsApp message to 0703 175 6537. 0703 175 6537. So, is there something to be upset about in this story? Is there something to be upset about? Or is there nothing to be upset about, but Harrison is just having a difficult time understanding that there's nothing to worry about? Hello, good evening. Good evening. What's your name, please? Where are you calling from? Hello, Matthew. Thank you for calling.
Thank you very much. My contribution there is the lady has done the right.
Mm.
I think it is her name because the land they are forgotten and you know he's doing the job for the family.
Mm.
And I'm more than there. Do everything after that. No, it's not. Because then I told you just now, the money does not belong to the man family, it belongs to the family. Whatever I married them, due to some circumstances, the way it is, and then it's actually there.
Okay. Thank you so much, Matthew. Thank you for that. Matthew is our first caller, and he's saying he actually subscribes to this. He doesn't see anything wrong with it, particularly because of the way things have become nowadays, and you can't really know who to trust, basically. So he's saying this idea is a good one. So just for clarity purposes, Harrison and his wife have been married for 3 years. Just for clarity purposes, they've been married for 3 years, and they've been married for 3 years. Just for clarity purposes, they've been married for 3 years, and this money left for her by her father. This was 6 years ago when her father died. So she had this money for a while before Harrison came along. But she told him about the investments as well. So she's getting profit from the investment that she's using to channel that she's channeling into building the house. So she used part of the money to buy the piece of land in Ogun State, and she put the remaining into investment. So any profit she gets from the investment money, she puts it into building the piece of land that she bought. So that's how she has been running it. And now the house is ready, and she's talking to him about furnishing. And this is when he said, "Oh, yes, we'll furnish it together because the house is in both our names." And then she corrected him, saying, "No, the house isn't just my name. It's our house, but it's in my name." Hello, good evening. Good evening. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good evening. My name is Tammy. I'm calling from Idaho.
Okay, hello, Timmy. Thank you for calling.
Yeah. So concerning the discussion,
Mm-hmm.
she actually bought the land before she got married to him, right?
Yes.
But she carried him along. She's even like people have carried him along because I feel if she has an ulterior motive, she won't even let it be in the know of it all.
Mm.
Now she has been carrying this man along. Even how she has been building, she has been carrying him along. Only for the man to say he forgot all about it.
Mm-hmm.
Now that it's ready, it's now we want to now participate in the painting and everything of the interiors.
Mm.
When she was building from the scratch, I'm not sure if she maybe any interest in assisting her in contributing to it. The house is ready only for the interiors, for the furnitures,
Mm-hmm.
and now we want to input in it. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't. Because I feel if she has any ulterior, she wouldn't even carry the man along. But she carried him along even before they got married, during the marriage, how the whole process, everything. She was carrying him along. Now it's not like maybe all of them will live there together, but it doesn't even make sense. Because what has to change today? If you were to see the one, would you have to see? And like your husband said, yeah, you don't know who to trust nowadays. So you shouldn't even be upset about that, or you should even be happy that the woman is doing something good, doing something reasonable with the money her father left for her. And she's even coming him along.
All right. Thank you, Timmy. I hear you. I hear you. I understand where you're coming from. Being that she carried him along and there possibly wasn't any contribution on his part and all of that. Well, thank you so much, Timmy. Thank you for that school of thought. Thank you. All right. And this is our second caller, Timmy from Ibafo. And Timmy is making a really good point about the fact that she did tell him about the land. She did tell him about the fact that she was building on it. Now, she told him all of this before they got married, but Harrison is saying he completed it, and he completely forgot that that was even something that she was doing. Now, again, if you look at it very critically, for him to have forgotten, have not reminded him about it anymore. Again, not because she needed to, but because, it was still going on. She didn't need to remind him because she had spoken about the fact that she's building a house. She has a piece of land, she's building a house on it, and this has been ongoing before they met. So I'm not sure the reminder was needed, but Harrison says he completely forgot about it until she mentioned that the house was ready. So this is where he's coming to, talking about the fact that he is saying the house should have been in her name. So he didn't tell her that, but he's upset that she put it in just her name. Is this a reason to be upset? What do you think? Madam Umi from Magboro is saying, my brother Harrison, please don't take this as an issue because there's no issue here. Let this be known that the house is your wife's personal property. So don't allow it bother you. What if she had finished it before you guys met? Moreover, she did well to explain everything to you from the onset. You just said you forgot. I want you to know that whether you understand or not, the house is for the children and you both are in charge. It now depends on how you take the matter. Don't allow your mind to be cloudy with negative thoughts about a discussion with your wife based on material things. Channel your energy to the future of your family and how you can do better than what she has done. That is what makes you a real man, not your wife's personal belongings. Temptations or misunderstanding can come in, so be wise and take care of your family. Remain blessed. Oh, thank you for that, Madam Bumi. Hello, good evening. Hello. Hello, are you there? Hello? Hello? All right, please call back if you can. Hello, good evening. Hello?
Hello, good evening.
Good evening. Thank you for calling. What's your name, please?
Festus calling from Ogun State.
Festus from Ogun State.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening. Thank you for calling. What's your name, please?
Festus calling from Ogun State.
Festus from Ogun State. Where in Ogun State, Festus?
Ogijo in Ogun State.
Ogijo. Okay. All right. What do you think about the story this evening?
To my own, everyone to say something as regards to this topic. The man is very, very ungrateful. Let me put it that way. The woman should continue without even minding. That man is very, very ungrateful.
Okay, why do you say he's ungrateful? Help me understand that.
He's very, very ungrateful because somebody started building before he got married to the person. It should not bother you. As the man, it should not bother the man. Whether the house is in his own name or in the name, or the woman has the document there, the name of the woman. It's nothing. It's nothing. Someone does not mean he cannot reach where he did not go. Allow the woman to be. Started the war. Using on the house, he's the one that bought the house. They bought the land as well. Where were you? And all these things we are doing. Now you want to say our house or you go. Man, is everywhere. Either in the state or in Lagos State. Go and get their own.
No. Okay. I understand this, but we don't judge here. So I hear you, but please let's be very careful with how we speak. Let's be very careful with how we speak. All right. Thank you so much. This is still very much a safe space. And this is why we have these types of stories, because we have secured this space as a safe space. So no matter how terrible the state of anyone sounds, here in Adult Conversation, we maintain the safety of this space. We don't judge and we don't point fingers. We only thank you. All right. In response to Madam Wumi's message, God's time from Matogon is saying you just hit the nail on the head. The house is for your children, and despite the name or no name, you both are in charge. Okay. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening. What's your name, please? Where are you calling from? Hello, William. Thank you for calling.
I'm not even trying to select. That man that just called down is not a big beggar. The way that man is not a big beggar.
Before you continue, William George, I understand where you're coming from, but please refrain from attacking someone else's comments, okay? All right. Why do you think so? What do you think about the story?
He said that man is unclean. You know that happens to a man can also happen to a woman.
Mm.
I'm not saying the girl in the head makes you belong to the man.
Mm-hmm.
If you ask your wife, say, you're supposed to do this, since you know that it's the rightful honor of that property, you know how you can train your wife. It's a woman. And that you can change her mind. You know that something can happen. It happened here in my territory. A man of 85 years left the wife home. Woman is 70 something.
Mm-hmm.
With grown up children. That man now, because he did not leave the house, they did peacefully as the woman did what happened. Exactly. Now the woman comes out and says, no, enough is enough. About time for her to open.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when situation like this happens.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot just come into the issue like that. Say concrete. Why is it that some men marry the same guy when they marry together to buy the land and deal? Another you cannot say you don't marry, you have to marry another one. The other one, the second wife will be the one to inherit the property.
Yes, of course. So what exactly are you saying, William George? What exactly are you saying?
Let people, when you call for this program, you want to advise them, tell them not to react to when the other people will be thinking that this person is not responsible.
William, I have a disclaimer already. I've given it that everybody should not judge.
The man forget about. The man should forget. Let him pray also. Let him get the money as the man to buy it.
All right.
Because you are the head of the family. If you know that your wife is hard working, you can say, well, you can collect the money. Then you can tell your account. When you tell your person now, there, let's pay this one. Let's go to the new house. I don't pay out for it. You will be saying something crazy.
Okay. Thank you very much, William. George. Thank you very much for that. I believe the last part of what you're saying is there's a way he can talk to his wife that, apart from praying for his own amount of money, for his own money enough to build a house, he can also, there's a way he can speak to his wife, he can appeal to her to, give him some money or at least make his own money to get a new place and build his own house and then get them to leave where she would like them to go to now, which is the house that she has built. And then I will reiterate this. Please, let's be careful with our choice of words as we comment this evening. Thank you so much. All right. This is still Adult Conversation. It's 28 minutes past 6, and we're still discussing the story of Harrison. In case you're just tuning in, Harrison is talking about the fact that his wife's father, 6 years ago when he died, he left her some money in his will. She took part of that money to buy a piece of land in Ogun State and invested the rest. So in case you're confused with the story, if you're on the group or if you're online, that's the profit I'm talking about. The profit from the investment is what she used to build the house. So every year she would take out of the profit from the investment and take it and plow it back into the land. The house is complete. And all of this was before she met her husband. Her father died 6 years ago. She and her husband have been married. She met her husband. Her father died 6 years ago. She and her husband have been married for 3 years. So she told her husband all about these plans, all about the house, all about the land, all about investment before they got married. But her husband got carried away. Harrison says he didn't remember any of this when they got married. So now the house is ready. She has told him about it, that the house is ready, and she's asking for ideas on how to furnish the house. So he's saying that, we can furnish it together since the house is in both our names. And then she corrected him and said, oh, no, the house is not in both our names. The house is in my name as the owner of the house. So Harrison continued the conversation according to him, but deep down, since this happened last week, he can't help but feel upset when he thinks about it, that she should put the hand about it, that she should put the house in both their names rather than in one person's name, in her own name. What do you think about it? Do you think this is something? Is he overthinking it? That's what he's asking. He's saying, am I overthinking this, or should she have put the house? I mean, is he overthinking it? That's what he's asking. He's saying, am I overthinking this, or should she have put the house in? Esquire Cakes and More Goodies from Matogun Okiaro is saying, you did not tell us what profit she takes from. Well, according to my understanding of his story, in my opinion, she has the right to put any name she wills. Dear Harrison, there's no need to overthink this. If she respects and shows you good love, you should continue to show her plenty more love as the head of the home that God has made you. Also carry out your responsibilities to the best of your capacity and see the work of God in your life. Thank you very much, A-Square Cakes and More. The profit I'm talking about is the profit from the investment. So I hope we understand that. All right. Ishmael is saying that land is her inheritance. So please keep off and go by yours. Please keep off and go by yours. That's coming from Ishmael on this one. What do you think? Do you think she should have put the house in both their names since they're already married? So even if she intended to not put it in both their names, if she intended to put it only her name before they got married, but they're married now and they're husband and wife now. Is this something that you think that she should have done? She should have put the house in both their names. I would like your thoughts on that. And then let's slot this in. If the tables were turned and the man put the house in only his name, do you think the woman would have been upset about it? Do you think she'd have been upset if she found out that the house was put in only his name? Or do you think she'd have been okay with it? And if she would have been okay with it, why is Harrison not okay with the house being in only his wife's name? I'd like your thoughts. 07000-917-917 is the number to call tonight. Send in a text message or a WhatsApp message to 0703-175-6537. We're streaming live on Facebook and on YouTube. You can go there, you can watch the program, drop comments, I'll read it. Facebook and YouTube at WFM 917. What do you think about it tonight?
Do you want to report how corruption affects you and your community? Send an SMS or WhatsApp message to 0703-175-6537. To find this important message, I searched over and over for one word that means compact, complete, ideal, perfect, and seamless at the same time. Well, I ended up with the phrase all in one. Yeah. In one magic box from Spectrunet, a portable desk phone that also works as a modem. Nothing beats this. My Vital desk phone allows me to make and receive calls and also gives me a strong data connection to browse the internet. I got one for my home and another for my business. As a business owner, my Vital device provides high-speed internet. I got one for my home and another for my business. As a business owner, my Vital device provides high-speed internet for my team. And the best part is the unique 9-digit landline number that adds value to my business. Each Vital box can connect up to 10 devices at the same time. You just have to own one. Visit any Spectrunet exclusive shop or dealer near you, or order online at www.spectrunet.com.ng. Vital. Make calls, stay connected. Spectrunet. Do more.
Hi sis.
I haven't forgotten you. In fact, if you want to know now, joining the wrapping these law queues. Slot is giving out instant 5K. We just have to find the code and send it to 8011.
If I finish unwrapping the knock cubes, will you make it 5K?
Just unwrap first now, let's see.
Win instant 5K cash in the Law Unwrap and Win promo. Buy the Law 360 gram or 160 gram promo pack. Look for a cube wrapper within a hidden 6-digit code. Text code to 8011 and follow the prompts to win 5,000 Naira cash or 1,000 Naira airtime instantly. Promo runs from now till November. Terms and conditions apply. More, eat for good.
2023 general election don't come more. Time don't come to move Nigeria forward with our votes. Make we join hands together and vote for better candidates.
Candidates wey no dey use women play. Candidates wey carry woman matter for head. Women o, make una get una permanent voters card, PVC, make we vote better.
My Voice of Women Empowerment Foundation and Women Radio 91.7 bring una this message.
My people, na better now carry woman just as this one hash to enter and win inside the Globe Festival of that promo by up to 50,000 charge or no data when pass from 500 naira go reach 10,000 naira every month or every day. New Mataraka plus other fabulous price that feel like your hand here. People dey sleep, make you dial star 611 hash now to enter and win. Terms and conditions there. Unlimited. For Women Radio 91.7, we value una. We always find way where we take care of una. Then we bring Women Radio membership come out. We will connect you with other women within 36 states for Nigeria. You be market woman, person wey get your own hustle, person wey dey go school, person wey don work retire, person wey dey look pikin dem for house. And you be farmer, we just say make we bring money o. Just go register for the UFM917.com. You fit still join Women Radio membership group for Facebook. Okay? Really, make I tell you wetin be like. As person wey follow this group, na im be member. We go help you sell your market for Women Radio. And everyone dey better prices dem. Download our mobile app, make you dey hear us anywhere. Better prices dem. Download our mobile app, make you dey hear us anywhere where you dey. Women Radio membership dey connect you to other women dem. Is increasing more never has made why? Everything has increased. Conversation, controversial, and borderline disruptive. The big question.
Mondays to Fridays, 12:05 p.m.
On your Women Radio, WFM 91.7.
I feel that there's some sort of lack of professionalism in this because we're talking about 100 lives.
Government has also put in place a structure to make it look like what they have in mind.
How do we stop crime in the society? Because at the end of the day, if a man cannot provide for his family anymore, he looks for other means. Because we should address Nigeria. We should know this is Panorama.
Mondays to Fridays, 9:05 a.m.
WFM 91.7 will bring you ladies from across Nigeria's political zone and disagree on powerful issues of the day. You too can join the conversation by Twitter and us, WFM 917 with the hashtag Panorama. WFM 91.7, the voice of women.
Minutes to 7 on Women Radio 91.7, Nigeria's only radio station for women and their families. If you're still tuned in, thank you very much. And if you're just joining us, welcome to Adult Conversations, where we share real life issues and we discuss matters relating to the heart. Tonight in Adult Conversations, we're profiling the story of Harrison. Harrison sent us this story, telling us that he's in a bit of a situation with his wife. His wife doesn't even know about this because he feels this way in his heart, but he didn't let her know that he feels this way. Harrison's wife was left a huge, not a huge sum of money, but she was left some money by her late father 6 years ago. This money, she divided it and used some of it to buy a piece of land in Ogun State and some of it for investments. So every year, she would take out some of the investments, or per time, not necessarily every year, but every time there's a good profit, she would take it out, leave the original investment money, take out the profit, and put it into building the house on that same piece of land that she bought in Ogun State. When all of this happened before she met Harrison, and she told him about this before they got married. She told him everything about the land, the investments, and the fact that she was building a house on that piece of land. Now, this is not to say that Harrison didn't know, because he did know, but he said he forgot about it. In the story, he said he totally forgot about it. Now the house is ready. The house is ready, and his wife approached him with, "Oh, what are your ideas for the furnishing of the house?" Or what can we do, and all of that. And he casually responded that we do, and all of that. And he casually responded that we can furnish the house together. So because the house is in our name, is in my name, is in your name, we can furnish it together. And she replied that, "Oh, the house is not in our name as husband and wife. The house is in my name." She put the house in just her name. Now, Harrison continued the conversation according to him, but he cannot help getting upset that she put the house in her name only. He's saying that since they're married, shouldn't she have put the house in both their names? And then he's asking, am I overthinking this? Or should she really have put the house in both their names? And now this is the question that he's asking. What do you think? Do you think he's overthinking it? Or do you think that she actually should have put the house in both their names? I would like your thoughts on this one. Harrison says she told him late last week, and he has just not been able to get it out of his head because he still feels upset about it. Again, she doesn't know this because he hasn't told her, but just feels very upset about it. So what do you think? Do you think there's anything to be upset about? Do you think that she should have put that, because he hasn't told her, but he just feels very upset about it? So what do you think? Do you think there's anything to be upset about? Do you think that she came alone? I would like to know what you think. Have you been in this situation before where you acquired property as a married woman, or even as a single woman before you got married, but you put that property in your name alone? And did this cause any problems between you and your spouse? And if it did, how did it cause any problems between you and your spouse? And if it did, how did you overcome it? What did you do next? All these questions Harrison wants to know the answer to, and he wants to know what you think about the story itself. So I would like your thoughts. The number to call is 07000 917 917. 07000 917 917. Also, you can send in a text message or a WhatsApp message to 0703 175 6537. 0703 175 6537. All right. So let's talk about this. Do you think that his wife is in the wrong? Or do you think that he is in the wrong for thinking that she should have put both their names on the house? What do you think? I'm very interested in knowing what your thoughts are. Go ahead and call in. Hello, good evening. Good evening. Please turn down the volume of your radio. Okay. What's your name, please? Where are you calling from?
My name is John. I'm calling from
John from Magboro.
Yes.
Okay. So, John, what do you think?
Yes. I want to tell Harrison something. Before man married, a man may have house, have cars, have limited. So when you marry, the house totally belongs to your wife. It belongs to children. It belongs to the family. You as a man, your wife and your children, those things belong to them. Now, according to the word of God, it says that when a man marries, that the man will have no longer power over his body, but the woman. The likewise, the woman has no power over her own body. except the man. Then, if the woman have a house, and the house is in the woman's name, of course, but when the woman marries, that house actually becomes the man's own too. Two of them.
Okay.
If the marriage is of the love side, the man will not be thinking of go and make the family become you and I. It automatically goes of them. You understand?
Okay.
It is when the marriage is suspicious that all those things will be coming out. Let us be nieces and nieces, whatever. But when the thing is not suspicious, according to the word of God about marriage, everything about the woman is man, and everything about the man is woman. So if the man is suspecting her wife, I advise them, let her seek for the presence of God. Let them seek for the presence of God. So that the love of God will be in their midst. So they will not protect each other.
He's actually not suspecting her, John. He's not suspecting her. She told him about all of these things before she got married to him. He knows about it, but he just forgot. So talking to him about the house, now that it's ready, he's surprised that the house is in her name. So he's feeling a bit upset that she didn't put the house in both of their names, Mr. and Mrs. Harrison, their surname and all of that. He's not happy about that. But the wife doesn't see anything wrong with it because it's her house. It's a house that she built from the proceeds, from the money she made when her father died and left her some money. So he didn't tell her about the fact that he's not happy. He didn't tell her, but this is how he feels. So he's asking us that, am I overthinking it, or should she have put the house in both our names?
Okay. In the other way around, in normal terms, she's supposed to change it, making it husband and wife, okay? Mr. and Miss.
Why do you say that?
Yeah, why I say that is for the conscience clearance.
For the what? Could you say that again?
For the clearance of the conscience.
Okay.
So there is no duty on both. So the man will not be feeling as, my wife, I don't know, this, that. Or the woman will not be feeling that my husband is thinking about this or that. That's why I say, if there is love, if Harrison loves our wife and not our wife, then Harrison should not be bothered about changing the document later admitted.
Okay. So if there's anything suspicious.
You understand what I'm saying? If the trust is not there, then the woman should.
Time to carefully analyze it. But I want to know if you agree with that analysis. Well, what do you think about it? 07,000 917 917 is the number to call. Hello, good evening.
Hello.
Good evening. What's your name, please? Where are you calling from?
Yeah,
IK.
Yeah, from Ikorodu.
From Ikorodu. Okay, thank you. All right, please go ahead. What do you think?
If this story is very good, interesting story.
Thank you.
Why I'm going there?
Go ahead.
Are you telling me?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. The husband should be very happy and very understandable that the woman he married already has told him that she has a mood.
All right. IK, if you can call back, please do that. All right. IK, if you can call back, please do that. If you can call back, please do that. All right. This is a message coming in from Bisola. Bisola is saying, contrary to what someone said, why would you want to cajole the woman to change the name on the document to her husband's name? Is there a law that states that women cannot own properties? He should be grateful that she's a reasonable person. She could spend the money on frivolous things like some other women would have done. As far as she has not said she's moving there without him, all is well. The goal now should be for both of them to work towards building another house in their name. But he should not take this to heart, because this particular one should be left in her name even though it belongs to the family. So Bisola is saying, is there a law that states that women cannot own properties? Why should she have to change it to her husband's name or to both their names? Is there really any issue with that? Can't she feel free to own her own properties, just as he would feel free to own his own property? Any issue with that? Can't she feel free to own her own properties, just as he would feel free to own his own properties? Then I asked this question earlier, that if the roles were reversed and he was the one who was working on the house before they got married, and the house was complete and he put the house in only his name, Mr. Harrison, and that's the only name in the deed of the house, even though the house is both, it belongs to both of them, because their family and their children will all live in the house. Would his wife have any rights to be upset about it that is not in their name? So let's talk about that. Thank you very much for this message, Bisola. 07000 917 is still the number to call. Hello, good evening. Hello. All right, please call back if you can. We're streaming live on Facebook and on YouTube, so you can join the conversation there. You can watch the video, you can go along with it and share the links to your friends, to your family. And if you're discussing about it, let's hear your thoughts. I want to hear the argument. I want to hear everything. Call us 07000 917 917. Let your friends lend their voice. Lend your voice by calling in or sending in a text or WhatsApp message. Once again, streaming live on Facebook and on YouTube at WFM 917. So I'm interested in your thoughts concerning this, and I'm also sure that Harrison wants to hear what you think. Hello, good evening. Okay, is this Ike?
Yeah.
Okay.
So what I'm trying to I'm trying to explain is exactly there's no law that says that woman should not own her own belong. It's something that is her own name. Like Rafi said, she has started this thing before she met this man, and now she has finished it. And he told the man, this house is ready. You want to put some things inside. And the man now said his name is not there, and it's become worried. Say why is not there? So I'm like, his name is not there from the beginning, and he will be there at the end. And the woman should write the name of the property on her own name directly. The Bible does not say that the woman should not own something. And people refer to the Bible. People are referring to Genesis. Because it doesn't say the woman should not have something by her name.
Okay. So you don't think there's anything wrong, right?
There's no wrong about building her house and faith. And then to put things inside and get the man to say, this house is already. Now, this is what you want to do. The man said, I forgot what you told me from the beginning, that you own a house, or that you own your house. It's not wrong. The woman has the right to own it to the end of her life, even to show it to her children, if at all.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you for that, Ike. Very, very explicitly stated, according to him, that there's nowhere in the Bible that says the woman can't own property, and there's no law that actually says that she can't own property either. So it's in her name, and it should stay that way so that she can pass it on to her children. And the fact that the house still belongs to them, they're all moving into the house, they're all going to live there, so it's not much of an issue. It's not an issue, actually. Hello, good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening. What's your name, please? Where are you calling from?
Mr. Obole from Nevitown, Ojo.
Your name again, Mr.
Mr. Obole from Nevitown, Ojo.
Okay, from Nevitown. Thank you for calling. All right, please go ahead.
All right, my contribution is just simple and straightforward. The fact is that whoever built the house, it should be in his name. Because no matter that thing that Harrison is trying to say, I just want to advise him. That is the kind of thing that all these Yahoo boy and the lazy men always do. We don't forget about it. The house belongs to his wife. His wife built it. His wife owned it. She has full right to bear the paper name. So he shouldn't bother himself. When God bless him, he wants to do the house.
Absolutely.
No, he should be less concerned about human property.
All right, thanks so much. Thank you very much. Again, another person saying that Harrison has nothing to worry about. He shouldn't take this to heart. He shouldn't make this into some really big deal that it's actually not. So it's 6 minutes to 7, and I still want to hear your thoughts on this. This is still Adult Conversations where we share real life issues and we discuss matters relating to the heart. What do you think about the story? Do you think Harrison should care? Do you think he should be upset? Do you think the name on the deed of the house should be in both his name and his wife's name? What do you think about it? 07000 is the number to call. 07000 I'll be taking messages from Facebook very soon. And if you want to send a text or WhatsApp message, 0703 175 6537 is what to send it to. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening. Yes.
Like you said, if the road were free,
Mm-hmm.
how would one have been? The roads, if they were free.
Mm-hmm.
So men used to carry a life marriage. So now that they are married, they will not go to the document and begin to write Mr. and Mrs. because they are married.
Mm.
The document remain their name. Is there nothing wrong? It belongs to both of them still. So now that this woman inherited something from the daddy and he built the house in her name, now that she's married, she's saying it is so. So change of name does not matter. It belongs to please, Harrison, just cool yourself down. Don't let it bother you at all. The house belongs to you and your children, all of you, belongs to all of you. Change of name.
Thank you so much, Madam TJ. It's good to hear from you. Thank you. Madam TJ is one of our regulars on Adult Conversations, and it's been a while that we heard from her last. So Madam TJ is one of our regulars on Adult Conversations, and it's been a while that we heard from her last. So it's her point of view is just as a man would buy a piece of land, buy a house, buy anything that he can afford for himself before he gets married, and he will put it in his name. It should be just as okay for a woman to do the same thing, provided she can afford it. It should be okay for her to acquire assets in her name, even if she is single. So, and even when she gets married, she shouldn't have to change the name just because she's married. Just because she's married. The properties now belong to both her and her husband, but the names doesn't necessarily need to be changed. This is what my submission is. Do you agree or do you disagree? All right. If you're just tuning in, this is Adult Conversations where we share real life issues and we discuss matters relating to the heart. I'm going to read the story that Harrison sent in so that we can hear it just as he sent it in. My name is years ago. This was before we met. Just by way of conversation, I'm adding this. Harrison and his wife have been married for 3 years. Her father died 6 years ago. Now, going on to the story, Harrison says, my wife used some of the money to buy a piece of land in Ogun State, and every year she takes a good part of the profit to build on the land. Again, profit in this context simply means that the wife split the money into two, actually. Profit in this context simply means that the wife split the money into two, actually. It doesn't have to be equal parts. She bought a piece of land and she invested the remaining amount. Now, the profit that she makes from the investment per time, she takes out leaves the main investment money and uses the profit to build on that piece of land that she bought in Ogun State. So that's what I mean by profit in the story. Harrison goes on to say, she told me all of this before we got married, but I totally forgot about it. She just told me that the house is complete and was asking my ideas on the furnishing. I casually replied that we should do it together since the house is in both our names. And she corrected me that the house is actually in just her name. I continued the conversation But deep down, I am very upset that she did not put it in both our names since we're husband and wife. This happened late last week, but I've not been able to get it out of my head. Am I overthinking, or is she really wrong for putting the house in only her name? Shikina, that's the story tonight, and Harrison wants your thoughts. Again, his wife doesn't know that this is how he feels. His wife has no idea that this is how he feels, except if maybe he has shown it somehow in his body language, in his attitude towards her, but he actually did not tell her. He didn't open his mouth and say, "Oh, babe, I'm not happy that blah, blah, blah." He didn't say anything like that. So she probably doesn't know about it. Again, as I said, except if his body language showed that something is wrong. So he's not happy that the house is in only her name. And he thinks that it's wrong for it to be that way. He's thinking that it should be in both their names. Or do you think that Harrison is wrong for thinking that way? And if he's wrong, do you think there's anything to be upset about? What are your thoughts concerning this? 07091,917,917. You can also send in a text or a WhatsApp message to 0703 175 6537. 0703 175 6537. Now, I'm going to go on Facebook, but before I do that, I have to remind you that we're live streaming on Facebook and on YouTube at WFM 917. At WFM 917. So let's get to it. On Facebook, Deba Malthus Sterling Omilani is saying, "Don't be bothered. She owns the house because it's her money inherited from her father. So just come and do your responsibility as husband, and God will help you too to build your house and even for her as well." Nabuife for my saying, "Is her father your father? Were you married when he gave it to her? Did you in any way contribute to building the house? If it was on the other side, will you add her name to the house? Answer these questions yourself and know whether you're overthinking things or not." Now, Joe Forbes is saying she isn't wrong for putting the house in her name. It's her land. She bought it with her inherited money. She built the house herself without asking for financial assistance from you. So it's her house. You don't have to be upset. Just turn the table around. Will you do the same thing? Would you buy a piece of land and put your wife's name on it? Would you buy a house and put her name on it? The house is hers, not yours. She did well by informing you about everything as it progressed. The energy you're using to get upset at your wife, put it into buying your own land and building your own house. So this is coming from Joe Forbes, and there are a number of other messages. I'll take those sooner than later. Tell me what you think about this. Do you think he should be worried? Do you think this is something to even be bothered about at all? Or do you think that his wife did the wrong thing? Do you think so? Now, something I said earlier in the course of the program is maybe she stopped somewhere midway in reminding him about the house. Maybe she didn't feel the need to continually remind him and tell him of all the updates and all the progress. Okay, maybe they finished foundation, they're doing the next level. That okay, we brought the gates now, they are fixing the gate. Hopefully next week they'll start doing the roof and all of that and all of that. I don't know how a house is built. Just flow with me, flow with me, flow with me. So, do you think that she should have done a better job consistently reminding him? Or do you think that because she already told him about it, there was no need for any constant reminder, being that he was okay with it at the beginning? So, what do you think? Hello, good evening.
My name is Esther.
Esther, where are you calling from? Hello, Esther, are you there? All right, kindly call back if you can. All right, incoming message. This one is coming in from, okay, Bisola. All right, I'll take this after I take this call. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening, please. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, Chris from Maguru.
Okay, thank you, Chris. Please go ahead.
There's no need for the man to be angry at all. In the first place, the woman told him that there was a piece of land, she started building.
Mm-hmm.
Why did the man also ask her how the building is going? the progress that she's making with the building and all of that. She forgot, I mean, he forgot all these years. Then when she had completed the whole house, and then he now discovered that it was, the problem was in her name. He now started, he shouldn't be worried at all. He should rather encourage the woman, congratulate her. Because at the end of the day, they are husband and wife, and there's no need for jealousy, there's no need for anything that has to do with, maybe being angry or being worried about that. I mean, it's a success that the woman has achieved. She should just go ahead and congratulate her, and let her just go, in peace between both of them. You shouldn't be worried at all.
All right. Thank you so much, Chris. Thank you for calling. All right. Chris doesn't think that there's anything to be worried about. As a matter of fact, he thinks she should be commended for all the progress that she has made with the house. And as regards she not reminding him of the progress, Chris is saying, well, he didn't ask about the progress either. As a matter of fact, he forgot about it. So he didn't ask and she didn't say. Now that the house is ready, he's upset. Chris is saying there's no need. The house may be in her name, but the house still belongs to both of you. The house still belongs to you and your children. So there is absolutely nothing to be worried about. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Godwin. I'm calling from Ishao.
Godwin from where?
Ishao.
Okay. Okay. Go ahead, please.
My contribution is to that matter. Is that the man is he lose hope, or he has lost his hope, or the woman? So I she needed the husband that they cannot build another house again. So if they have not lose hope, then they will still build another house. There's no any this thing to changing him or that. That is my own contribution for that.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you, Godwin. Thank you so much. Godwin is saying there's, again, nothing to be worried about, nothing to be unhappy about, nothing to be upset about, because she did this for them. So there's nothing to really be worried about. And it's their house. So everything is fine. Everything's fine. There's really nothing to be worried about. Abi, what do you think? Because as this matter goes so, it just be like, say, because say the woman no put both of their name. As this matter goes so, it just be like, say, because say the woman no put both of their name for the documents for the house. It come like say Harris in the vex, and now this kind of small vex now then they lead to something else. Do you think that this can cause kind of trust issues in their marriage? Do you think it can de-escalate, or do you think it can escalate to that point that it will cause any kind of trust issues or any passive aggressive behavior? Because there's some people who go talk as still they do them for their mind, but if any opportunity comes, they will take your eye. This is shaggy. No, be say you do anything way bad, but because then they feel one kind because of something where you do. Now in this Harrison case, the thing where your wife do not be bad thing. It just the vex and one kind because in the expect say in wife supposed don't put that property for both of them name. Hello, good evening. Grandma Olainka. Good evening. Thank you for calling.
Thank you. How are you doing?
I'm very well. I'm fine. Thank you. We're all fine.
I don't like to come back. And I tell my uncle, my boyfriend.
Mr. Darlington has not called yet. He has not called yet. But the last time he called, I think on Thursday or Friday, he asked after you too.
Thank you. I wish you well at the family. This matter is very simple. And the man should forget about whether his name is there or not. The man, the lady's father gave her this land. And for the fact that she has told him before, he's supposed to be optimistic, encourage the woman. Now that has finished the whole thing. It's about punishing and all that. It's like the last one I said, the man should be hopeful. The man should be looking forward to work hard and do something better for the whole family. You know? Okay, look at the building now that the wife has constructed. Then you as the man, don't look at them and you because this house is for the children. It's for the children. If you forget his name is not there, it's not there. If you look forward, if you be a happy man, that he has a wife that can get this type of thing, the woman is prudent, you know, is not wasteful and trafficant woman that is tired to be all over the place. You can do the dancing and, you know, praise this woman. Then he has to work harder now to get something better for all of them. That's my advice for you. If you forget that I be happy for his wife that he has a good wife. Who has how will I call it now? So he has he's well focused. He knows what to do for the future of the children and for all of them. That the no rent again, and then the man who get something better, work hard, and God will help him.
All right. Thank you, Grandma. All right. Thank you so much, Grandma Olayinka. Thank you for that. So Grandma has put a lot of weight on the quality of the woman, the fact that she communicated this to him as well. And she's saying, like a previous caller said, was it somebody who messaged, that's talking about the fact that there's nothing to be upset about. As a matter of fact, he should be happy that she channeled all that funds into a productive asset, something that can work for them and their family and their household. So he shouldn't be upset about it. Grandma is saying, just keep praying and keep working hard so you can get something even better for her and your children. Please call back if you can. 07000 917 917. Square Cakes and More is sending this message saying, I'm just surprised that the topic never came up during the course of their regular discussion all the while. Or did she just build it in a space of 3 months? I'm sure there might have been something in the mind of your wife. It's either she has not been happy that you, Mr. Harrison, never thought to check or follow up. You might need to have a heart-to-heart talk with her. Let her know how you feel and hear what she has in mind. Apologize wherever you feel the need to. I'm coming back to this message. Okay, please call back if you can. All right. Square Cakes and More is highlighting the fact that maybe did it never come up in their regular discussions. So she told him about this before they got married. I don't know if it ever came up, and if it did, she didn't feel the need to go on with that, and he didn't feel the need to follow her up on it anyway. So she didn't build it in 3 months. She had been building it since her father died, basically. Not immediately after her father died, because obviously it takes some time to clear the money, to buy the land, for the investment to start yielding profits and all of that. So she's been building it they've been married for 3 years. She has been working on building the house. She has been working on the house since before they got married. So maybe 4 or 5 years or so, maybe about that. So she's been building the house for a bit. Hello, good evening. Mr. Darlington, good evening.
How are you today?
I'm very well. Guess who just spoke with me?
Iron Lady.
It was Grandma Lainka. Grandma Lainka was literally the last caller just before you called in. And she asked after you.
My senior girlfriend. Tell her that this Christmas is for 2 of us.
Mr. Darlington, no be me go give that kind of message. Make her say for you.
You must deliver it. Tell her to get prepared.
Thank you for calling.
Okay, I hope you're fine.
Yes, I believe so.
It's okay. So I have a different perspective.
Okay.
Based on the fact that property is involved.
Okay.
And if you ask me, if anything happens, it will go down as a legal matter.
Of course.
So why don't you do the needful while the opportunity is there?
What's the needful in this case?
If they call a lawyer to write or prepare a document in the name of the two of them concerning that property, that way everybody will be at peace. It's as simple as that, because in an environment where people came to claim property, not knowing who owns it, whenever one person dies, you must take care of these things. So don't just say it is two of us. What if at the end of the day they look at the papers and see that this is property, is the woman's own, and our people say, this is our daughter. This property is our daughter.
Okay.
There's nothing we do about it, though.
Okay, I'm trying to understand you properly, Mr. Darlington. So if whose people come, the husband's people?
The girl's people now, if something happens,
okay,
and she's no more around, what happens? Will that man confidently claim it if her own people come to claim the same property? You know what happens now? Even where the man left a will, they used to drag it, not to talk of this one that says this property belongs to the woman.
Okay, so what I'm hearing you say now is that they can prepare a legal document that states that the house belongs to both of them, even though the original document is in her name.
Exactly.
Okay.
It's as simple as that. Let us document be there so that anytime, somebody can claim the house. Either from the husband or from the woman's side. I mean, what does it take? That's the only way each of them can be at peace over that property. Now that the man is thinking. Now that he's thinking.
Well, it's a sad reality though, and when I say sad reality, I mean the idea that somebody can come from somewhere and claim the house, which happens. It happens more to women than to men, because it's the men's people more often than not that usually come and say, it's our brother's property, and they take everything away from the woman, and she's left destitute.
If they see a document in the name of the two of them, it might be, in fact, if either of them goes to court, the people are within trouble.
Okay.
You won't have the legal guts to even start. That's what I'm saying. And it doesn't take anything to do that. Instead of saying, it does not matter. It does not matter. It is for the two of them. Just wait until something happens.
Okay.
You will not know whether it is for the two of them.
So again, Mr. Darlington, just to clarify your point, the original document for the house is in the woman's name already. But you're saying that they can prepare a legal, like an affidavit or like a document that says this house still belongs to myself and my husband, just in case of anything going forward.
You don't know how it is done. Don't put ideas.
No, I know. I'm speculating, obviously.
I am telling you, when they approach the law, you know what to do. What I'm saying is that when you go and buy a property, the receipt they gave you is not from the original vendor. When you now want to prepare your title document, will it not be your name? It's change ownership.
So you're saying basically that he should change the ownership to both their names, is what you're saying.
Look, I am not saying she should change. Don't use that word. Let a lawyer prepare a document that will reflect the name of the two as the owners of that property.
Yeah, but that's basically what you're saying, Mr. Darlington.
Yes. Sorry?
I said that's basically what you're saying.
That's not the right thing to do at this point, where the thing is already beginning to... There's no other way now.
It's technically, it's not beginning to anything, because she doesn't know about this. He's just the one thinking this way.
That's what I'm saying. Since they are married and they want peace in that home, let them do it now. Let them do it. So that even if the man acquires his own property tomorrow, it will still be in their name. That way, everybody will be at peace. Then this one is my own. This one is my own. Meanwhile, you are married and you are supposed to be one.
Yes, but what is the problem with they having individual properties? Is there any problem with that?
What the problem there is that what happens after they are no longer around? What happens?
If
Usually the problem.
mm-hmm.
What happens when any of them is not around? Will their people maintain the land status quo?
If they have,
they maintain it? If they start dragging it, that is not my brother's name. You have not had this marriage in this matter. After he acquired it, he does not come to it. What happens? Will the brother wake up and say, no? So be at peace. Why not let them do the needful so that anybody can not even wake up and begin to challenge what does not belong to them.
All right.
The other party in the marriage may not start having ideas.
What kind of ideas?
An idea that this thing belongs to me. Or if something happens tomorrow and there is disagreement, you throw the man out of the house, say this house is my own.
What's wrong with that?
Have you not heard of it before?
I've heard of it. What's wrong with that? Is the house not her own? Is it not her house?
Oh, you want such a thing as this?
Again, nobody knows what's happening in the future. The way you're talking about death, and how to prevent it or how to work on it or how to guard against it, that's also the same possibility that anything else can happen. So that's why I'm saying.
Something that will happen. Let us for it. Let us take care of it legally.
Yes, but the issue anyway, Mr. Darlington, thank you very much for calling. All right. Because I don't want to, we can go all day on this and I don't want us to take that long. I would like to hear from other people as well. So he's saying because of legality and all the elements that come into a legal process, he's saying if the woman passes and her people come to say that, this is her property and they want to take over it, I believe there's an entire court process for that to happen, particularly because it's even the woman's name. Typically, if it was in a man's name, the man's family can come and say, this is our brother's house, our son's house, and they usually take things away from the women without unprovoked. And the women don't put up too much of a fight because they really don't have that much in the first place. They don't have that much to pursue anything. But the chances that this will happen if it were a woman, in this case, if it is in Harrison's case, chances that somebody from the woman's family will come and say, this is my sister's house, or this is my daughter's house, and take the house away from their family, including their children. Those chances are slimmer than it would happen if it were a man. That's one. Two, the man in this case can actually pursue legal processes. He can claim that, okay, you want to take the house, you can't take the house because it is in her will, if she has a will, or it is in her personal, she has stated somewhere that the house still belongs to us. So she would have stated it that, I want my family to have the house, I want my husband to do this in a will. Now, technically, this is if she has a will, because even for the man's case, when the man's family comes to claim property, more often than not, sadly, there's usually not a will. But even if there is, again, because the woman usually doesn't have the means to pursue legal processes, she usually just forfeits it and starts all over again with the children. So Mr. Darlington is saying they can change ownership, they can work around it, prepare legal documents that claim that both parties are involved in the ownership of the house, so that if anything happens, they can work that out. Hello, good evening. Hello? Hello? Hello, are you there? All right, call me back if you can. David from Mangoro is saying it's not bad that it is in her name alone. He's not supposed to be worried, only if she's the kind of woman that brags about the house. Only if she's the kind of woman that brags about the house. So I believe this lends credence to what Mr. Darlington was talking about earlier, about if anything happens, she can send him out of the house. Isn't that what men do? I mean, again, there's no that I'm not saying that this is right. It's wrong even when men do it. So it's wrong as well, even if a woman does it. But if a man does it, nobody usually complains. Nobody's talking about, he's sending out of the house, blah, blah, blah. Nobody says anything. So if she does it, I mean, what do you think? 07000 What do you think about it? This again is coming from a place. They can jointly own another property. They don't have to jointly own this property. Or what do you think? Hello, good evening.
So, good evening.
Hello, Ziggy. Good evening. How are you doing today?
Fine, thank you. My name is Ziggy. I'm calling from Festa.
Thank you for calling.
Thank you. So, you see this matter, let I don't lie for you. You get as the view.
Okay.
For me, yes, you get as the view. You know why I say get as the view?
Why?
I'm a realist. And everybody is entitled to his own opinion. I'm not against anybody's opinion. But if not me, I would say that lady in question, she could have left the house back to supervise the building, the construction of that house. Yes.
Why do you say that?
The house belongs, yes, the house already. I think it was willed to her by her father, right?
The money was willed to her by her father.
Yes, I understand now.
Okay.
She used the money the father gave to her and purchased the land before they got married.
Before they met.
Before they met. That's a good one. Okay. Now this is my point. The man should have been the person supervising the construction of the house. But since he is not the one that supervising, that this lady have already supervised the house and she has completed it.
Yes.
And she's a married woman. If I happen to be Harrison here, believe you me, I'm going to congratulate my wife.
Okay.
And I'm going to congratulate her that, yeah, she tried. Okay? She did not misuse the money. She did not use it for makeup and the rest of other things. But me as a man, I will advise her to rent it out.
Okay.
I'm not going to be in that house as a man.
Why is that?
I want to be in a house whereby I think I will be in charge. Because that man cannot talk in that house as a man of the house.
You see,
there are some women, okay, who are very submissive. For this one now, I'm not trying to judge her. She's not sounding submissive to me because the way the man said, hope the document is in our name. He said, no, it's in my name.
Should she have lied?
He would not be comfortable. He will not be comfortable speaking in that house. So if I happen to be in a marriage, if we are living in a 3-bedroom flat or 2-bedroom or 1-bedroom flat, I think that is where we should be.
Even if the house that she built is better than your 3-bedroom.
I'm coming. You will ask your questions.
Okay.
Okay. Now I'm coming. See, no matter where we are living, she must be under where I am in charge, where I'm taking care of. That's number one. Number two, it's a challenge to Harry for him to work as a man and build a family house for the wife and for the children. It's a challenge. He has to come out wherever he is and work so hard as a man. Because a lot is involved. This is just a 3-year-old marriage. Tomorrow anything can happen. What if the woman, takes him out of the house? What will he do? Will he stay in the house, out of the house?
Okay, so is there something else that you want to say?
No. I'm not saying anything else.
All right. So let me ask you a question, Ziggy.
Yes.
Why is it so important that if it's the woman that builds a house, she should rent it out? Why does the man feel like he's not in charge because she built the house? Why does he have to feel that way? Why? I have never understood that, and I don't understand it. Another question, before you answer that, another question.
Okay.
If they live in a 3-bedroom flat that is rented, it's rented, it's a really good apartment, but it's rented. And then this woman built a duplex, or even maybe another 3-bedroom, but this one is their house now. This house it's their house. So you're saying that they should stay in the rented apartment and continue to pay rent when they can live somewhere that they will not pay rent anymore just because she built it?
So, number one, let me start from your first question.
Okay.
Some women are very good. I'm married to one. She's a very good woman. But all women are not the same. You immediately woman, some women, would have fame or any finance enter their head. It didn't always, make them, some of them are not submissive. Some of them cannot handle fame. Some of them cannot handle wealth. Some of them cannot handle property. Before you know it, they will start disrespecting the man. Number two, this woman needs to be in a place where he is in charge.
When you say in charge, what do you mean? So that he can be the one to say, this is my house. This is my house. That's what you mean by in charge?
Okay. Are you hearing me?
Yes, I'm hearing you. I asked you. I was asking.
This is easier said than done.
No, hold on. It's not that complicated. A lot of men are always saying, this is my house. This is my house. My rules apply. All of that. There's always an ego thing that comes along with saying this is my house. So you're saying that if he can't say that in that house, then it doesn't mean he's in charge. Is that what you're saying? I'm trying to understand you. So you're saying that because
my point is clear.
You haven't answered my question, Ziggy. You haven't answered any of my questions.
I have answered your question.
No, you said some women. We're not talking about some women. We're talking about this particular case. And then you also said earlier that this particular woman does not seem submissive because she corrected him. Why? What's your definition of submissive?
Number one, if she's submissive, she could have allowed her husband to supervise the construction of that house.
Why would she do that? Why would she do that?
That is submissive because the man is her husband. He is the head of the house.
No, he can be the head of the house. Does not mean. I think you're mixing things up. The fact that she's submissive. Well, you're wrong in that case. I don't think that this particularly applies, particularly because the fact that it's a house doesn't mean that the man is not the head of the home. This is just an ego thing generally.
Listen. I told you one thing. So many women does not handle fame. Immediately they build a house, they will try to ride on their husband.
Let me ask you something. Well, we're going to round off with this. Ziggy, you've taken too long. And I'm going to ask you this. If this was your situation, your wife built a house, she came into some money, she built a house. So you're saying that you would rather stay in a house that you're renting rather than stay in a house that she built?
I have to discuss with her. In this house, I congratulate you. I'm happy for you.
But you should rent it out.
I'm happy for you. But I am not going to move into this house with you. We are going to stay in the house where I rented.
All right.
But it is a challenge for me to work as a man.
All right.
To build a house for me and my wife and children.
Thank you. So this is definitely, this sounds to me that like this might be an ego thing. And I believe that it is an ego thing. Now, this is not to say that the ego thing for being a man is a bad thing. More often than not, it's a good thing. It's just when men sometimes overdo it, that's when it comes off as a bad thing. The whole men being egotistic, it helps with being men. It helps with getting things done. It helps with being a provider. It helps with being, emotionally available for your family. There's a lot that being egotistic as a man has positive aspects to. But in this particular case, if you would say that you should rent it and you're not living in your own house. Now, if what Ziggy said was, if we're living in our own house, maybe he built a house as well and they're living there, she can rent hers out, then I think that might be a bit of a compromise, so to speak. That might be a bit of a compromise at that point because they're not paying rent anyway. They're not spending money that they can channel into doing better things. They're not spending money on any other thing. They're focused on all their money is going back into the house because they're living in their own house. But if they're living in a rented apartment and your wife built a house and you're saying that she should rent that house out so that you can stay in the rented apartment that you're paying rent for because you're the one paying rent and you can say this is my house. I think this might be one of that negative aspects to having a big ego as a man. I'm not sure that this is the right thing to do in this case, particularly because by the time she rents that house out, there's the money coming in. And then you would be wondering that, with this kind of house, this kind of money, before you know it, you're asking for part of the money, and the money itself is becoming a bit of an issue again. So what do you think? What do you think about what Ziggy said? And what are your thoughts concerning this story tonight? I'll take this call before I take some more messages from Facebook. Hello, good evening. Hello, can you hear me? Hello, are you there? Hello, can you hear me?
Hello, good evening.
Good evening, and please, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
Is this Women Radio?
Yes.
All right. So it's me, Madam TJ, calling back.
Okay.
Yes. So thank you very much. See, I don't want you to be surprised over the comments coming. We are different cultures and different tribes in Nigeria.
Of course.
What would be good for one culture may not be good for another culture. In some culture in this Nigeria, it's a taboo for a woman to own a house. And the woman will not hear it if she wants peace in her house. I think
I do.
If she owned a house before she got married, the man will push her until she does what some people are suggesting. But in the West here, it's not a big deal. Here in the West, too, you will say woman married, she has her own house, she has her own house. And nobody will commit anything to the woman who provided she has children. The house belongs to the children. Nobody will drag that house to the children. You see, so that is what I'm trying to say. It depends on the Harrison tribe.
Okay.
So if a tribe is a tribe that the men are so proud, I will not say proud, the men really take taboo for their wives to write. And I'm happy some people are mentioning Bible. You know that the capable wives in the Bible, the Proverbs 31, the Bible says the woman considered that her trading was good. She got a field. So the capable wife in the Bible can trade and purchase fields for herself. I think you understand.
I do. Thank you very much, Madam TJ. All right. Thank you so much. All right, another perspective to that, talking about depending on where you're from, your particular beliefs, your cultural mindset, and all of that. Now, we all do have all of this. We have all the cultural influences that form a background to the way we think, the way we reason, the way we understand certain things. So it's not a surprise, actually. I saw this come in, and it's actually okay. It's okay to hear from different points of view, and it's okay to have this conversation. These issues are real, and these kinds of conversation they're needed. Okay, they're needed. Thank you very much. All right, this is still Adults Conversations on Women Radio 91.7, and this is where we share real life issues and discuss matters relating to the heart.
It's the bomb.
It's the bomb, baby.
The best, baby. We're bringing it to you live. Women Radio. Mr. Johnson, I'm here for my money.
Baba landlord, I'm very sorry. My wife is very sick, and I have spent all the money I have.
I've been telling you to ensure the health of you and your family with a reliable HMO.
Reliable HMO? Which of them can I go for?
Hives Medicare HMO Limited. They are one of the accredited health maintenance organizations with thousands of quality and accredited healthcare providers nationwide on their network. They have corporate plan, retail plan, student plan, and even community-based health plan. Also, their premium is pocket friendly.
Please, where are they located?
Their office is located at number 2 Osho Street, Okpebi Link Bridge, off Okpebi Road, Ikeja, Lagos. Their phone number is 08093 555 863 or 080 3263 9058. Their website is www.hivesmedicare.com. Hives Medicare, health protection in your colors.
To pass this important message, I searched over and over for one word that means compact, complete, ideal, perfect, and seamless at the same time. Well, I ended up with the phrase all in one. Yes, Whitel, the new all-in-one magic box from Spectronet, a portable desk phone that also works as a modem. Nothing beats this. The Whitel desk phone allows me to make and receive calls and also gives me a strong data connection to browse the internet. I got one for my home and another for my business. As a business owner, my Whitel device provides high-speed internet for my team. And the best part is the unique 9-digit landline number that adds value to my business. Each Whitel box can connect up to 10 devices at the same time. You just have to own one. Visit any Spectronet exclusive shop or dealer near you or order online at www.spectronet.com.ng. Whitel, make calls, stay connected. Spectronet, do more. 2023 general election don't come more. Time don't come to move Nigeria forward with our votes. Make we join hands together and vote for better candidates. Candidates wey no dey use women play. Candidates wey carry woman matter for head. Women oh, make una get una permanent voters card, PVC. Make we vote better.
My Voice of Women Empowerment Foundation and Women Radio 91.7 bring una this message. 91.7 bring una this message.
Are you searching for durable, guaranteed, elegant, affordable home products? At Eleganza Industrial City Limited, we put you first. From plastic chairs for adults and babies, party tables and school tables, disposable plates and cups, as well as reusable plastics, food warmers and cooling boxes, trash bins of various sizes, baby diapers, lady sanitary care products, luggage of various sizes, hair threads, and lots more. Eleganza Industrial City Limited has got you covered with our elegantly designed products in unique shapes and sizes. Visit us at kilometer 68 Lekki Epe Expressway after Eleko Junction, Ibeju Lekki, Lagos. Or you can call 081 801 99999 or 090 914 73665, or you can send us an email at eleganzaindustrialcity@yahoo.com or info@eleganzagroups.com or sales@eleganzagroups.com. You can visit our website www.eleganzagroups.com. Eleganza Industrial City Limited. The name is our guarantee.
Radio Doctor on WFM 91.7 every Tuesday from 10 to 11 a.m. brings you medical experts specialized in women's health.
If you're a 28-day cycle person, just count forward on your day 14, you would ovulate.
Call in to get free consultation on women's health on 07000 917 917 and 090 256 25455. You can send in questions, cases, and related contributions on social media, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at WFM917. Text and WhatsApp to 070 317 56537. You can listen live online on www.wfm917.com. Radio Doctor, Nigeria's first free consultation radio health program on WFM 91.7. Oh yeah, give the left or right, right.
You think you know Nigeria's biggest tune? Get in the ring on the Big Team Show every weekday from 4 to 5 p.m. on WFM 91.2.
Minutes to 8 on Women Radio 91.7. This is still Adult Conversations, where we share real life issues and we discuss matters relating to the heart. I'm going back on Facebook and I'm reading some of the other messages on Facebook. Amiebi Koko is saying, oh God, don't let your overthinking result to hatred. That's a very important point. Edward Chukwujindu Moloku said, Guy, hustle, buy your own land in your own name and build it. Shikena. Before you met her, the money was given to her as inheritance. So I beg, come out mind for dear. Chris Ayanobong says, suppose your dad left a huge amount of money for you in his will before his death, and you're utilizing the money well. Will you put your wife's name on it? Why don't you make your money and leave it for your generation than getting okay, I'm not going to read that. Of course, your children are still the future owners of the property. Please wake up, pray, and ask God to give you your own. You may even get more than you ask for. Peace be still. All right, Ehana Chodede de Chong Kingsley says, but since they are married, two must become one. Why is she still maintaining one? And in response on Facebook, Onifemi says, men are polygamous in nature, sir. Therefore, the story can change in future. What will it be the profit of a wife who builds a house in her husband's name and later becomes the first wife? In response to Deba's message, Deba said, don't be bothered. She owns the house because it's her money inherited from her father. So just be calm and do your responsibility as a husband. And God will help you too to build your own house, and even for her too. In response to that, Omotoke Oluwatoyin says, you've said it all. Why is he upset? The house and the money used in the building doesn't belong to him. Plus, men can be funny these days, so it's better it's in her name alone. Deba says, yes, I support the woman. Men must understand that women have a right to use their money for anything they want, but just put your hubby in the picture, which she did. The only thing I support is that the man should always do his own part as God has blessed him. Okay, these are the comments so far on Facebook, and feel free to continue the comments thread on Facebook. I'm looking at a message from Bisola. Bisola sent a message earlier, and she sent a number of follow-up messages. This one saying that we all know that if the truth that if the roles were reversed, if he had that property before marrying her, he will surely not change the name to both of them, to be frank. We know some cases that even in marriage, the man would still not include his wife's name, especially if he bought it and built it by himself. If he has no secret plans, then it's not an issue, but I really wish to hear from a legal person if it changes anything. She says, like Mr. Darlington said, if a document is prepared for both of them to claim ownership in case of death, it's the same thing as saying the house isn't solely in her name. Rather than such documents, I would rather she prepares something like a legal will stating who takes the house in case, God forbid, she dies untimely. She also wrote a comment about Ziggy, and I'm not going to read that so that it doesn't cause any trouble. Okay. Hello, good evening. Mr. Darlington.
Yes.
Okay, very briefly, please. Very briefly.
We have discussed issues involving this kind of thing about will and all that.
Okay.
And it is because issues like this are not taken care of. That was why the issue of somebody died in Texas came in, and they became an issue. But with the situation of things like, if you now ask her to write a will, it may say, maybe the man is thinking something, though. Why are you forcing her to write a will on who will claim the property? That thing should have come later when, everything is normal and there are no issues.
If I'm hearing you correctly, Mr. Darlington, if I'm hearing you correctly, just to rephrase what you're saying and to be sure that I understand you, you're saying writing the will can come after this legal document that has changed the names, right?
Yes.
Why does it have to be that way? Why does it have to be that way? Why can't she have a will stating that the man can claim ownership to the house with her children if she passes on? What's wrong with that?
She can't do it now.
Why can't she do that now?
Because there are issues to be resolved.
There are no issues to be resolved, or at least she doesn't think that there are any issues to be resolved.
The marriage is still young. If some of this has become an issue now, it will mar the happiness in that home.
Mr. Darlington, what is wrong with her saying that if she dies, the man can claim ownership to the house? What's wrong with that?
There is nothing wrong, but it cannot be now. Let it be when there are no issues.
Mr. Darlington, if you're saying that because these issues that you're saying now is because the house is in her name. So what you're basically saying is when she changes the ownership, then there'll be no issues. Then she can write the will.
Look,
Really?
You don't solve a problem in the midst of another problem. You don't.
Okay,
You are not
Mr. Darlington, if the roles were reversed, is this what you would advise the man to do?
You said what?
If the roles were reversed, is this what you would advise the man? Mm-mm. So why does somebody made it a patriarchal society? Why do we have to leave it? No, that's not the way it's supposed to be. It doesn't have to stay. The man can be the head of the home. Doesn't mean that the society needs to be a patriarchal society. God did not make a patriarchal society. Please don't preach wrong message here.
No. God said you should be the head of the home.
And he can be the head. He can be the head without the property being in both their names.
You had the man who was saying that the man will not be comfortable living in the house if you are a woman.
Why not? What's wrong with that? Why not?
He will lose his respect in our home.
There's no such thing. This is if the woman is that kind of woman, right? This is not, don't generalize this and make it look like this is what will happen. That is not the, Mr. Darlington, please don't say that this is the way it is. Don't say this is the way it is, because in your experience, this can have been the way it is. It doesn't mean that this is the way it is. So women that are breadwinners in their home, that their husbands don't contribute anything, maybe because they've lost their jobs, or because they're just because they're just, Mr. Darlington, you again, do not generalize. Don't generalize. The fact that you hear about stories that women talk down on their husbands because they have more money or because they have this does not mean that you hear all the stories. There are stories where the men do nothing and the women still treat them with respect, and these men still go back and stab them in the back. So this is why women should guard themselves as well. So honestly speaking, it just we keep reiterating that women should have their own financial independence. And when they have it, you want to take it away. When they have it, you want to take it away. If there's a legal document that says, if I pass on, my husband and children can claim ownership to my house, what exactly is wrong with that? So because the man does not reserve the right now to say, this is my house, and the woman won't be able to say, oh, this is my husband's house. And funny enough, she will at the end of the day. I'm not sure where this is coming from. Again, this is a backward cultural mindset that we keep happening, that we keep encouraging. It doesn't change anything. It doesn't make the man lose his headship of the home because the house is not in his name. So we need to get rid of that mindset. We keep saying that these are the kind of mindset that keep women down, that keep women subjugated to men, that keep men dominating women and putting them in inconvenient positions. So it's okay for the man to say, I don't want you anymore, you can get out of my house. But if the woman does it, then she is the problem. I need us to grow out of this negative mentality. I really need us to grow out of this negative mentality. It really doesn't suit anyone at the end of the day. Growth is beneficial for everyone. It's beneficial for the woman, it's beneficial for the man, it's beneficial for the children, and we need to understand that. All right, incoming message from Olayemi from Magboro. Olayemi is saying, Mr. Harrison, please tell me you're joking. So in this time and age, you're expecting your wife to change the name because she's married to you. If you had a car before you married your wife, have you changed the name to Mr. and Mrs.? You expect her to change the name to Mr. and Mrs. so that if anything happens to her tomorrow, you can inherit it and marry another woman. You should count yourself lucky that you married a prudent woman. This should be a challenge for you to start something if you haven't started yet. My brother, that thought you have is a selfish one. You that do not remember that your wife is building despite she told you, and you want her to add your name, please. Okay, he says, I know you're joking. Oh God, double your hustle and show more love to this woman by supporting her and start one for the family too. And that's coming from Olayemi from Magboro. All right, this is where I call it a day on Adult Conversations this evening. Thank you very much for all contributions. I dare say we've had an interesting one tonight, both in terms of messages on Facebook and on WhatsApp as well. So thank you very much at this point. Thank you very much. But I will say that we cannot continue to subjugate women. We cannot claim that women should continue to remain beneath the man, all in the guise of submissiveness. That is not true. And the sooner the men realize that they want women to continue to be under them, just say it with your full chest. Don't claim you want her to be submissive when what you really want is for her to be under you, for you to dominate her. And that's unfair. So we should create room for women as well. We should allow women to thrive. We should allow women to be economically independent. Again, it's beneficial for you, it's beneficial for the woman, and it's beneficial for your children. Thank you very much for tuning in tonight. I want to thank you all for your contributions. I'm sure that Harrison will be able to take an informed decision. And if Harrison still feels this way, I believe they can have that conversation as a couple. On behalf of Harrison, I thank you again. And I hope that you will join me tomorrow, same time, same station, same program, Adult Conversations. Thank you very much to my engineers on duty. My name is Sumto Titilayo Achama. Good evening.